guys, how's it going? How you guys doing today? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the live video show here on Sharpening Night in Canada, Thursday. We got a little bit of a new setup here, guys. If you guys are looking at right here, we're pointed towards our stone shelf. We're at the front desk here. We're just trying something else. Right? We got some new camera equipment, so hope you guys like it. All of that what we're doing today.
I know Francis looks blue. We're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it as much as possible, guys. We're just fidgeting with some lights and stuff like that, and we're figuring out what's the best to become in the future. Yeah, if you guys haven't been around in the past couple of days, just to let you guys know that we are doing some free sharpening for Ottawa and Vancouver, just because we are locked out. And Alberta now. Alberta is in the loop here, so pretty much all the stores are doing free sharpening. Then just come on down, hit us up, and we can help you out in terms of getting you nice sharpened. You know, the whole entire Canada's locking down soon, so got to do something, right?
And as per usual, don't forget to dislike and unsubscribe.
Don't forget to dislike and unsubscribe, because if you guys haven't subscribed yet, there's no way you can just unlike it, right?
And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe first and then unsubscribe again.
Yeah. You got to do it like multiple times. Just mess with our algorithm a bit. Yeah, it'll be perfectly fine, guys.
Corey, boys are back.
Boys are back, yes, yeah.
He's just leveling his Knifewear 220 because of us.
Oh, nice.
You're welcome.
We got a special class for you guys today. It's a good thing you're leveling up your 220. That thing is a heck of a time-consuming thing to do, honestly. Leveling up that 220, especially if you use it a lot. So to give you guys kind of a bit of rundown of what we're going to be doing today. Last week, I said that we were going to do some pocket knife sharpening, but I lied to you guys. For today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to do a asymmetrical grind on certain knives, right? And we're going to talk through about what it means to have an asymmetrical grind. When is it an advantage to have an asymmetrical grind? And how do you do it, basically, right? Not everybody has an asymmetrical grind. You might have a Hanasuki that has a bit of a one-sided asymmetrical grind. A lot of knives are honestly sharpened on one side. And yeah, we're going to teach you guys how to do that and different ways of doing it. Yeah, so we're looking pretty good here. During this whole class, too, as well. We're going to be going through basic sharpening too, so don't think that we're just doing some advanced techniques. We're going to be doing a couple of other kind of basic stuff to kind of keep people up to speed in this case here. Okay. So in this case here, what I'm sharpening today is I have a, what do you call this?
That is Tojiro Os 8, I believe.
Tojiro Os 8, yeah. This guy is has been around our shop for a while. These guys were awesome, little budget knives that we used to sell a little while ago. These guys don't have any logoing. They're AS 8 steel. They're very easy to sharpen and kind of re-edge up. It's also a really great knife to just kind of mess around with. Honestly, we teach a lot of people how to sharpen and whatnot with these knives because the steel is so easy to grind down. So I really like the OS 8 stuff here. So yeah, we're gonna go through like how to get that asymmetrical grind on that guy. This guy already has a bit of asymmetrical grind. I don't know if you can see through the camera, but angle bit. There you go. And there's a very wide bevel that you can see here. And then if I go to the other side here, it kind of has a very small bevel, right? So when you're looking at this here, the side that has the wider bevel will be your dominant hand side. That way, the food on the side that's over sharpened will peel a little bit easier onto that right side. Say, for example, if you're cutting a cucumber, right, and you're cutting from left to right, the cucumber is gonna slice up and actually peel off a bit easier. Some people find with like food stickage, this will eliminate that problem sometimes too. So if you feel like your food sticks too much, then this type of sharpening would actually be beneficial to you. Okay. All right. So we're going to go through a couple of different stones to show you guys what's up here, and some of the finer stones we're going to get into as well. So the first stone that I'm going to show you guys is a very rough stone. Some knives that don't have much of an edge to it need a really rough stone to kind of get that edge started. You can also use the also famous Knifewear 220 with the stone, right? A nice stone to work with, just something nice and rough, right? It's going to be quite a bit of material you're going to be grinding, so it's always nice to kind of get the bevel kind of set with the a rougher stone, because it removes material more with one pass, right? So you can definitely get a better looking edge just by sharpening with this with a coarser stone. Okay, so that's our first stone there. We're gonna put them in the water and let them kind of take a little bit of bath so they soak a bit of water. Next thing we're gonna go for is a 1000. So we're doing a asymmetrical grind. When we work at 1000, it's gonna be just like a polishing stone, just to kind of refine that edge and get that blade to its maximal potential. Because once you move on to it from a 220, it's going to leave some pretty deep scratches in which you're going to want to remove, as well as it's going to give you a really rough edge, right? So moving to the 1000 is pretty important in this case here. So we're going to move from a 220 all the way up to a 1000 grit stone. Okay. Next stone that you probably want to look into will be like a higher refining stone. So let me see what we're going to do today. I have my... Let's do this guy here. This guy's a nice vitrified stone here. This 2000 grit, a 90 watt stone here. So these guys have a really nice, luxurious kind of feel to them. So when you're polishing up a very wide bevel, it kind of blends all that bevel together and gives you a really nice shiny edge to work with. All right. We have a couple other resinoid stones like the Sharpening glass does a really great job of doing that. The specialty series stones also do a really good job too. Those guys don't have much abrasives, but the adhesive really polishes it up really nicely, which is one of my favorites for polishing.
I got a quick question here from our buddy Corey. He's asking if lefties are mostly out of luck with asymmetric and single bevel knives.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Unfortunately, with asymmetrical stuff, like people are always over sharpening on the right side because they are right hand dominant. So when they start sharpening, usually it's always on the right side. Sometimes you'll get a maker who you can get like a symmetrical grind for one, and then start sharpening it like an asymmetrical left-sided if it is your knife. In terms of the single bevel department, you're pretty much in low luck there.
They're way more expensive because the blacksmiths and manufacturers have to basically mirror all of their equipment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not as easy with the left hand. There are makers and producers who just make left-handed knives. But yeah, they're usually about $100 more, and they are typically the same thing what you get with the right-handed.
If you're looking for a good value single bevel left-handed knife, I would look at the Sakai Takayuki Kasumi Togi.
Kasumi Togi is
they
a good
actually
job.
make left-handed in all of the shapes.
Yeah.
It's a good price point for them.
Yeah. If you're looking for something to just use and not have to worry about, those guys are great for learning how to sharpen as well as just take care of, because there's nothing fancy, but you get them for really good value, which is nice about those Kasumi Togis. Right? So yeah, I'm sorry if you have for our left-handed viewers out there, but the same thing will be done on the right side if you're to basically maybe make a left-handed symmetrical grind to it. All right. So let's get on to sharpening here. First one I'm going to get into is the 220. So we have our Knifewear 220 as well as our kind of a cheaper $10 stone that we work around with. This guy is our what is this here? Lobster sharpening stone right here. This guy in our store right now costs like $10, right? I like the stone quite a bit. I use it quite a bit in the store here.
We use that stone every day.
Yeah. This is a brand new one that I just opened up just for this class here, because the one that we use are quite thin now. Still a good chunk out of it. You can see the big difference in them. And we opened this around like 2 weeks ago, right? You can see the big difference in the material. This just wears down pretty quickly, but the reason why I like it so much is because it wears, it removes material super quickly. and it flattens out super easily too. We're always flattening our stones, and find this one dishes a bit quicker, but when it's time spent on flattening, almost not really much time done with that. So yeah, this guy's one of my favorites here. This guy needs to be soaked for about 15-20 minutes before you start. So if you put it in the water, you can actually hear some of the bubbles kind of bubbling away. Another way you can actually determine if it needs to be soaked, if you just put a little bit of water on the stone, and then you just let it sit there. If it sucks up into the stone really quickly, it needs to be soaked. If it kind of pulls up and it's a nice bit of water on the stone there, you're good to go. You can start sharpening and don't worry. As you sharpen, you want to apply more water to make sure that you lubricate the top and you're moving the braces and grit around as you sharpen. Okay. In this case here, we're going to use our big bucket water gardening tool here, and just kind of spray our stone with water to keep it nice and consistent. Right. So we're going to go to in how to like start sharpening an asymmetrical grind. So like I said, with a knife like this here, you always got to figure out which side you want to start off with. In this case right here, a lot of people and myself here are right-handed. So I'm going to start with my right hand. Right, and the side that I start off with is if I have the handle towards me and the tip of the knife pointing away, I will start on the right side first. Okay, so this right side will be on the side here, and so when it comes to asymmetrical grind, typically you're giving a much higher angle on one side, and then on the other side is a bit more of a lower angle, like a really flat edge to it, and typically the flatter angle will be on the left side of the blade. Most of the sharpening is going to be done onto the right side. So the nice thing about asymmetrical grinds is you don't have to be super accurate with it. There's some people who like to basically round it off a bit. There's some people who want like maybe a 70-30 edge, so it's very tall and flat blade road on one side, and the other side is just very tiny and small. Either one works, but you may want to stick with one. I find that the rounded edge is a little bit easier to do because you don't have to worry about consistency in this case. So in this case, in this knife here, I'm going to start with the back on the right side, apply some bit of water on top of the stone here, and then I just push a bit of pressure right on top of here, and I'm going to start to sharpen right on the stone here, right? And as I sharpen, I wanted to move my fingers down the blade road as I continue along to sharpen, right? All the way down towards the very back here at the heel. So in this case here, like if I was doing normal sharpening, I would do a bit of counting. I would count to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way until I'm basically to the heel of my blade here, right? But I'm not really worrying about that. What I'm looking to do is I'm looking for a burr that crosses the entire blade, and I want a pretty wide blade road too as well. So let's see if we can see it on camera here. Right, you see that blade road?
Actually, pretty well, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the blade road is a lot wider. That's because I'm like rocking it a bit up and down, right? And then what it's going to create is kind of an edge like this, just like that, a little bit rounded more, and it's got the flat side. Okay. Once I've rounded it enough and got the burr, right? So continue to sharpen that area. Okay, and I'm always checking to see if I got the burr, right? So I'm always going from the middle of the blade, and I'm just kind of flicking my edge, my thumb away from the. And you can feel a bit of that hook kind of go onto the other side, right? Once you feel that all the way to the side, you can check the blade now. So just check to see that blade road, see how high that symmetrical grind, the asymmetrical grind is. If you feel like you don't have a consistent burr or the grind is not as tall as you want it to be, you can go back to that area and continue to apply pressure exactly right over it, and just continue to rock it back and forth like that, right? Just like that. Okay, and then as it continues to sharpen your knife, just look for the burr, right? So the same thing like with sharpening a symmetrical knife. It's just looking for that burr and trying to figure out if you got it to the edge there. Okay. So the second thing you want to do is take on to the other side now. The nice thing about an asymmetrical burr is typically you don't have to do a lot on the other side, and you're going for like at a pretty low angle. I would suggest maybe going for like a 10-degree angle. It'd be probably the easiest. It's like any other knife. You start from the other side. Put your fingers right on top of here, and instead of doing 10 passes up and down and going all the way to the very heel, you want to do much quicker passes. You're just deburring the knife at this point here. So 1, 2, and then just quickly move your way down to the heel here. I think you should be able to feel that burr pretty quickly, Ashley.
I just got a quick comment from our buddy Blank.
Oh, hey,
Blank. Yeah.
What a Blank.
He says he's only messed with asymmetrical grinds on his own Japanese knife, but he's never run into anyone that had one that came with their knife. We've seen quite a few here at the shop. The big one that springs to mind for me is Stain.
Yeah, Gleestain, with the Gleestain, with the big divots inside that, right?
Those things are really weird.
Pretty interesting. Pretty big, thick knives. Ingenious design, but very unique. Great steel though.
There's that one Japanese brand that has like this like light brown handle, like, not maybe like one something like that.
I'm not too sure.
I brought it to you guys like one time, maybe like 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Sometimes you go like Lee Valley, you go to get the sushi knives. You get those, those very well known Kamimotos are my favorite. We actually have like a Japanese knife in the shop here. Typically our half 40s, our Mugen half 40s are usually asymmetrical guides.
That's right. They have a different grind on each side.
Is it the AS or the half 40 that used to have that?
I must grab the AS.
Let's take a look. Typically, like the Mugens that we sell here, if we have a couple, used to have an asymmetrical grind to it. It is a very thin asymmetrical grind, but this one's really tiny. It's really hard to see, actually. Can you see on the camera?
I'll see if I can
jiggle it around.
Grab that for you.
Yeah,
it's tough to see, but that's the right side is a little bit more brown than the left on these guys. That's nice though. These guys are dope. Yeah, Mugen makes some pretty
dope knives. We don't have a lot of them left, but there are dope, nice feeling knives. Got a sweet handle to it. Mahogany, right?
Yeah, it's a mahogany taka.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that means, but it's nice.
All right, so we just finished the 220 stone here. So most people are not going to probably do it that fast. Be very patient with the 220 stone, especially when working with the asymmetrical grind, because you are going to be moving a bit more material than you're used to, especially if you're rocking that backside up and down. But overall, just be very patient. It's gonna pay off quite a bit in the future for sure. Right. So once you're done with that, you can stick that back into the water, and then we're gonna move on to the next stone here. So in this case, Sharpen, we have the Sharpen Glass 1000. We have a professional Glass 1000, but I'm gonna go for a different stone. I don't usually use this on a daily basis here. Hey Jordan, is this flat?
Yeah, it should be.
Should be okay. Perfect.
Definitely should be. Yeah.
Jordan was using this, and he was flattening this one, so just making sure that's nice and flat. So the reason why I've chosen our own Knifewear 1000 stone is all stones are made a little bit different. This Knifewear stone, when you're using them, builds up a lot of mud. Right? And mud is going to be our best friend in terms of this asymmetrical grind because you're going to have to hug against that rounded edge a bit better. So this is going to be a lot easier. It's going to move the knife a little bit easier. With our Sharpening Glass 1000 and our professional 1000, these guys will have more of a kind of a streaky look to them. If you apply more pressure and if you build up the mud on these guys, they will blend in pretty nicely. But it takes a bit of technique and a little bit of practice to do. So that's why I recommend getting just the Knifewear 1000 as a first starter for these type of sharpenings. It's actually quite nice too, as an edge too as well. I believe this is probably Nautil's one favorite stone that he always has around.
It's one of my favorites too. I think it's a phenomenal.
It's a phenomenal stone. Great stone to start off with.
I don't know if it's as good as the professional 1000.
Yeah,
it's definitely different.
But it's pretty nice though. Yeah, 1000. All right, so we're going on to 1000 now. I'm gonna grab my knife and I'm gonna do the exact same thing. With I did with the 220. Start with the tip, rock it all the way through, and continue to sharpen it until you get the burr. So yeah, it's more of a visual thing. If you feel like you don't know how much of the actual edge you're trying to do, I'll give you a little pointer here. Where's my good old Sharpie? Sharpie is kitchen's best friend. Okay, give it a little wipey wipe on the edge here so that my marker will be accepted by the knife here. Grab your Sharpie, and what you want to do is just kind of draw the Sharpie across the entire bevel there. Okay, right. So that's going to give us a little mapping of where we're sharpening, where we're not. You can also do this for if you're doing the 220 stone. Perfectly fine. Same thing. Much is not going to change, but it's a little bit easier with the 220, with the 1000 because it's a little bit smoother stone.
I got a quick question here from our buddy Corey. For asymmetrical grinds, the right side percentage is listed first. Example for a 70-30.
Yeah.
70 would be the right side.
Exactly. Yeah. 70 would be on the dominant hand side. Yeah. Okay. We're going to here. 1000 up and down the stone there. I go up a pretty low angle first, and then I'll work myself into a higher angle, right? Or you can do the entire blade road first, going across the from tip to heel, and then adjusting your angle as you work your way through, right? So you can see like I'm not really focusing on angle or anything. That's the great thing about this. It's just like a very free type of sharpening. You're not restricted by how accurate the angle is or anything like that. It's just more enjoyable this way. I always encourage everybody who is learning how to sharpen, do it this way. Right? You might mess up the grind in the future, but you definitely know how to sharpen something a little bit easier on the right side. Okay, as we continue to sharpen.
Yeah, so I guess a lefty version would be 30-70, yes?
I guess so, yeah. I guess so, yeah.
30-70, yeah. Okay, sure.
Same thing, my friend. Yeah. Same thing. All right. So you can start to see the blade now. It's a little more clearer.
Yeah, look at that big blade road there. That's
yeah.
Super bit at the edge.
It's super obvious. Like if you don't see your wide blade road, the symmetrical grind is probably not going to work as well. But depends on how thick your knife is. Also, the thickness of your knife too. It also will contribute to how it cuts. So if your knife is pretty thick along the edge, like say, for example, you had the knife for 5-6 years and then it out, or just kept sharpening it over and over again. This symmetrical grind, you probably want a very large blade road on that right side as you continue to sharpen. Right? So imagine that blade road just get larger and larger and larger over the time, the longer you have your blade for. So something to keep in mind. In this case right here, we're going to go for a bit of a lower angle just to kind of blend in the rest of the blade roll here. Okay, so this is more of like a visual thing now, right? If you tend to go a little bit of a lower angle, the edge, because it's rounded, it's going to lift the edge just a bit up where the lower your angle is, right? So it's flat against the stone there, and as you lower your angle, that angle just lifts a bit, right? So really, you're doing more of like a visual type of blending across the entire knife now, as to more about that edge sharpness. Edge sharpness will give you more of a high angle. Blending will be more of a lower angle. Okay. So I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure. Keep on putting a little bit of water on top of the stone. And this black muddy stuff is what you want to develop. This is really going to really help to blend in the rest of the bevel here. Give it a really nice look to them. And when I'm doing this, I put a bit of pressure at the start, but I put less pressure as you'll continue to move on. Okay. All right. So as you start to sharpen in the 1000 department, right? If you run your finger from both your thumb and your index finger and run it towards the edge of the knife now, you might actually start to feel that asymmetrical grind. One side feels like the blade rolls a little bit shorter. The other side feels a little bit more rounded, right? So you can definitely tell by the way that feels just by feeling the edge there. Okay. So once you're pretty happy with that 1000, you got it nice and smoothed out all the way through, we can move on to the next stone here. So that's the 1000 we just finished off. And let's move on to our next stone here. So what we got here is a nice little 2K, right? This 2K is gonna really shine it up. You can also use any other polishing stone. I usually recommend getting a resinoid if you're doing this for just more visual shininess and whatnot. But a professional or glass stone does perfectly fine too. Yeah, moving on to the 2K. In this case right here, like a really good way to kind of get it going a lot easier with these guys is to simply just true it down or get the mud going. So I got myself a diamond stone. You can also use a truing stone for this too. And you can just flatten out the surface of here. And this is gonna develop a bit of mud. You can also use an Agura stone if you don't want to do want to flatten your stone. Agura stone is kind of what the purpose of that Agura stone is, to lift up all the particles off, clean the stone, as well as develop a bit of that mud slurry, right? So I got that mud on the 2000 here. A little bit of water and a nice little squishy scratch across. Okay. Same thing, low angle to start, and then move yourself into a higher angle. Adjust your angle for the asymmetrical grind on the right side there. Okay, and then you can always give a quick little check to see where that burr is. Okay, and on to the other side there. Low angle, and just a quick little pass to figure out where the burr is. Perfect. Quick little wipey wipe, and a quick little check to see where that blade is, right? So pretty nice, pretty good going. Just gonna do a little more passes on this back heel here. Skateboarders.
Man, people still skateboard, eh? Bring Tony Hawk out there.
Tony Hawk, pro skater.
Hey,
3.
do a kickflip.
Dank. Oh, I love that game. That game slapped.
We should have Superman as our theme song for this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Nathan, if we can afford Superman by Goldfinger, that's Gold finger. That was called Superman. It was on Tony Hawk 1. Hit me up, baby. How's that knife?
Yeah, that knife is looking pretty good.
Looking good.
That's all right. It's not bad. All right, so I just polished up with the 2K. I'm going to show you guys what my end result here is going to be. Here, you want to jiggle it around there, Owen?
Yeah, buddy.
Jiggle.
That's
Now you can see that. Nice looking blade.
Look how wide that is. Yeah.
Oh, fucking amazing. On the other side, doesn't look like any difference. Doesn't look like anything.
What'd you do?
Yo, I didn't do anything on that side. I'm alrighty, because I'm right.
Got a huge blade road on that thing here.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so that's my 2000 grit stone grind there. At this stage here, you can do the other side and deburr the other side a bit. Not many passes, and then there you go. That is a asymmetrical grind to it. We're gonna finish it off with a quick little stroppy strop. So I have my strop. You can use any type of strop. You can use leather. You can use balsa wood. You can use some denim. You can use whatever you feel like, honestly. See you later, Jordan.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
But yeah, it's there's a lot of choices in terms of like what you can strop on. We sell this type of strop here, double-sided one, leather and suede on one side. We also have ones from Knifewear, as well as I don't have the bench strap right now, but we also sell a bench strap version for veg tan leather, which you can load up with chromium. In this case here, we're gonna load chromium on our suede side here, a little bit of a passy pass here. Boom, boom, boom. Chop. Okay, and we're gonna move on to our knife here. So the nice thing about like that symmetrical grind is like you don't have to worry about it. So I'm just gonna shove my bucket over. Quick like here. Don't want to damage my strop. And my strop is gonna be on the table here. So I can do a little bit of a swooping motion now. Like you see, like when I'm doing that, I'm laying it flat, a little bit of like maybe about a 8-degree angle, and then just round it off a bit, just like that, right? But you don't want to be at a higher angle than the original sharpening angle at the very edge of it. So you don't want to go too high. Nice little rounded movement. Okay, and a quick little pass on this side. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Right? That should be able to do it right there. So we're gonna do a quick little pass on this guy, see how it is.
Turning on that little light behind me, it's gotten so much darker since we started.
Yeah.
Now see how that looks.
Wow!
Whoa!
Am I too bright now?
That's actually pretty good.
Am I too? Oh, yeah, it actually looks pretty
Yeah,
good.
you don't
there.
look blue or anything.
Yeah, I'm a little bit.
You guys have to be patient with us. We just got all this new camera equipment. Nathan,
Yeah.
You guys need to look better. I'm like, I'm sorry, Nathan. He's like, don't be sorry, be better.
You need to on to
and then you drastically cut both of our paychecks, and now here we are.
I didn't know Nathan controls the paychecks.
Oh, watch over him.
Oh, okay. Oh, dang. I don't want to mess with him now.
So how does that feel when you run it through the paper with that just one side sharpened?
It feels like a double-sided knife.
Yeah?
Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't feel any big difference between one side to the left side. You might feel like your paper pulls a bit more to one side and it kind of drags it more on the one side, but honestly, it'll feel the same as testing it through a double-edged knife, right? Paper test is not ultimately the best way to test a double-edged knife or a symmetrical grind because paper is super thin and it just cuts through anything that you go through. So a better way to test it off is just like a hard, dense type of fruit, vegetable, or anything like that. A daikon is more ideal in this case here, but there's a lot of other choices. For this class though, I got an apple. Ooh, apple. I gotta get myself a cutting board here because this one's nasty.
This is fine.
It's a nasty cutting board though.
This isn't a restaurant. This isn't the Ritz.
But
all right, you do what you want. Whatever makes you happy, buddy.
I'm gonna be so much happy.
While you're over there, do you want to grab that little jig that we use for chisels to show our pelt length?
Chisel jig.
Yeah, that thing is dope. We had some chisels come in the shop the other day, and I looked at them and I was like, bleh. And then Francis was like, I have this, and then we sharpened them, and they turned out absolutely fantastic. It was super easy.
Let me find the jig.
Don't do it freehand, especially when someone's paying you for it.
Yeah, especially.
It's such a pain.
We got this little jiggy here. You put your chisel right down in the middle here. There's a little wheel here that kind of rotates as you go past the stone. And yeah, you put your chisel right in the middle here. You tighten up with this part right here that screws it in. And then you just push the bevel against the chisel there, and it'll lift it up, and you just adjust this accordingly so that the wheel touches the bottom there. And then you just tighten up, and then you start to sharpen the edge as you want to be. This is a lifesaver tool for me.
Yeah, they're very, very difficult to freehand, not only because it's such an awkward shape, but because it takes a while.
Yeah. Even with that jig, it should take you a bit of time to sharpen.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, if someone's paying you to do it, get a jig. If you're doing your own, it doesn't matter. You're messing up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's get this apple here. So I'm going to cut it right down the middle. Oh, man, I suck at this. It's been a while since I cut anything. All right, and then I'm just going to cut that apple core out. God, I feel so weird when I'm like people's watching me how to cut. Okay. Oh no!
Just relax, man. You know what you're doing.
I'm so scared.
I know you know what you're doing.
Food release is pretty good. Okay, so let's give you an example here. So food release. See how that apple has a bit of space now? Okay, food release. Yeah, it's doing pretty good here. So this knife is still pretty thin, but it's hard to see on this camera here. But let's see. I'll get a little slice here, but there's a bit of, as you slice, the apple will actually create a bit of a gap there, right? See, it doesn't actually sit flat against the knife, right? A lot of flat grind knives will have a bit of this problem. Even grinds with hollow grounds into them will have this problem a bit. The other problem where it just sticks against the knife there. So the asymmetrical grind basically helps it so that it pushes a bit outwards like that. Yeah. a little bit of an angle change. So there's a bit of an air gap between it. As you sharpen more and more, this will become more obvious and obvious as time goes. So it just peels the actual sharpening a bit more. So it just takes a bit of more sharpening out of this to get to that point. But as you continue to sharpen in this type of form, this peeling action is going to be a lot easier. You can see as I chop, it just peels off, right? Without having to push it off, right?
Yeah, the pitfall with getting into a very, very deep asymmetrical grind is that the knife will sort of want to drag in one direction. Like it's going to pull a little bit to the left as you're chopping down from the boards, which you kind of have to expect and correct for. It takes a little bit of practice to get used to.
This is a non-symmetrical grind one. You see how it doesn't come off there? It just kind of sticks on there. It doesn't create that same type of fall through that the asymmetrical grind gives you, right? At first, you might not notice it, but it just keep on going, and eventually you'll notice it over time. Okay. Hey, asymmetrical grinds looking pretty good here. Yeah, so that's pretty much asymmetrical grinds. If you guys have any questions about that, shoot us a little comment on the chat. We're real happy to help you out with those, guys.
Don't forget to dislike and unsubscribe, guys.
Don't forget to dislike and unsubscribe. I keep forgetting that, guys.
Don't worry, I got a huge subscribe.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys got any questions? Go ahead, fire them away. We're more than happy to help you guys out.
If you guys let's show you guys a couple stones here. So we have our 400 here, 400. A very nice stone to get into that asymmetrical grind.
I got a question for you, Fran.
1,000. What's up?
Would a middleweight or workhorse with an extreme grind benefit more from an asymmetric edge than a laser of a knife? Like a bit of a fatter knife? I think so.
A bit of a fatter knife,
Yeah, I think a fatter knife would benefit a bit better from an asymmetrical grind.
I would say so, yeah. Like it's if you're to get a really fat knife at some point and you have to sharpen it equal on both sides, it will just be a bit of a wedge, right? But if you're sharpening a thick knife with asymmetrical grind, it will still push in with that flat side, right? It still has something to wedge it in, but it's also got a really thick one-sided wedge to the other side, so it's gonna peel a lot easier. This is what you see in a lot of like Hanasukis actually made by Tajiro, have a really thick grind to them and a really pronounced rounded bevel on the one side. So yeah, it will actually perform a bit better.
Yeah, I immediately thought of that Tojiro Hanasuki as well, because it's actually another question we got here. What do you think about asymmetrical convex grind? Speaking of Tojiro Hanasuki, that's exactly what that knife is.
Exactly, it's a convex grind to it. Yeah, what we did right here was just a convex grind too as well. I have no problems with convex grinds. Convex grinds are very easy to do. They're very forgiving in terms of how you sharpen your knife. A lot of people in the industry, honestly, sharpen their knives in this kind of fashion too. I see it all the time because a lot of people will sharpen only one side of their knife. It's just a personal preference, honestly, but sometimes it does perform a lot better than one expects to be, just because of its weird grind to it. But yeah, it does work a bit better. So convex grinds, definitely.
Metaphorically speaking, would you say Kevin has a symmetrical or asymmetrical grind?
Asymmetrical.
I don't actually get to think about that long. Yeah.
Asymmetrical.
He's the most asymmetrical man that I know, I think.
Yeah, he's very well.
I cannot explain why.
Yeah. Don't ask me, guys. Don't ask me. Ask Owen. He doesn't even know the answer.
Francis, listen, Francis.
All right, next question.
Blank. What do you say here? The release site has no shoulder on the bevel. What do you mean by that? What are you saying?
No shoulder, but sweet stuff.
What's the shoulder?
Shoulder.
The shoulder. The knife shoulder.
Shoulder.
The shoulder.
Shoulder.
Shoulders.
Shoulders, yeah. Or like right here, probably.
Explain yourself, Blake.
Probably be here. I mean, I'm guessing like shoulders of the
Shoulder?
blade, because this is the thickest part and the thinnest part that's down here.
I don't know, man.
Oh, you're cheap. You're teaching me some new some new terminology today. So
I'm gonna try turning on a couple lights. It's getting a little bit dark.
A little bit of dark. Let me see if I can do this one again.
No, that one too many shadows.
Too many shadows.
You guys just have to bear with us, okay?
Yeah, we're gonna play around with a lot of the stuff here. But yeah, in the meantime, guys, you can just watch me do some crazy nice skills. You know that CZN Barak guy that just looks at the camera while he chops? I can do that too, but I'm not that great at it. It's pretty slow chopping. But yeah, well, what else we can talk about today?
I think we covered the whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
we got a good bunch of questions going on today.
I think we did a fantastic job, if I may say so myself.
Fantastic job. Yeah.
The Shinogi of the micro bevel.
Shinogi of the micro bevel.
The Shinogi of the micro bevel. I've heard of that.
So the top part of this part here.
Okay.
Yeah. So like just right to the very edge of the bevel there.
Oh, okay.
So that's what the shoulder. Right. I was maybe thinking the right thing. It's because I was thinking up here of the Shinogi, but that's the primary bevel. Is he doing secondary or primary bevel? He said.
Hang on. Asymmetrical convex grinds, like where the release side has no shoulder on it, the bevel just sweeps up. So I'm
guessing like up here. So it just sweeps up here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I've never done it myself.
Yeah. I don't think I've done it before. That was a tricky question.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'll give it a try sometime.
Yeah.
We'll fuck around a bit.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, why not?
We have the power to do that.
Why not do anything?
We have the power. We have the technology. We have the knives.
Yeah, we do have the knives.
We have the stones.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll stop crazy. Yeah.
Well,
that's pretty much it, guys.
Like, we start to sign off here, and if you guys got more questions, just throw them in.
Yeah, if you guys have more questions about asymmetrical grinds, probably next week, just so that we're clear, we're gonna do pocket knife sharpening, right? So if you guys want to learn a bit more about pocket knives and like how they're sharpened, it's honestly not that much different than a knife, but it can be tricky. So next week will be Owen showing us how to mess around with pocket knives. If you guys have a couple pocket knives you guys want to mess around, join us next week for that, and we can geek out and nerd out with pocket knives together. I'm not a super pocket knife, and so is Owen. So
even a less pocket.
Yeah. Exactly. So if you guys are thinking about nerding out with pocket knives, we'll be like, well, we will try our best to maybe get you guys here about pocket knives if you guys are really into it. And yeah, if you guys are in the neighborhood, remember that we are doing some free knife sharpening for all of our restaurant homies out there. So definitely take advantage of that. And yeah, we'll be here shooting up videos next. I think tomorrow Naoto is also doing a asymmetrical grind video tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's gonna do his technique. I'm not too sure it's gonna be the same as what we do here, but definitely check it out. He has a bit more knowledge in that department, so he might actually tell you a bit more about what the advantages are. But that's kind of my side of the story. So if you guys like it, hit the dislike button and subscribe. If not, tune in tomorrow, and Naoto will be here doing the same thing. Okay?
For sure.
Snap. Yeah, we're doing pretty good, guys.
Yeah. What are we at? 45 minutes?
45 minutes, yeah. Not too bad. Let me show you a couple things here. Let me show you a couple things. What does I have over there? So I have the 5,000 crystal Sharpening glass. So I'll show you guys like a few of the other stones that we will typically have. Because earlier ago that I was using the 2000 manual stone here. I think this is called the Green Brick of Joy.
Green Brick of Joy.
I love that name. I've at a previous stream I've told you guys that I had a big crack right down the middle on this guy, which is not affecting the overall result of my sharpening. That's great. But say for example, we don't actually sell this stone anymore. So like, if you guys want to like maybe a what's the word I'm looking for? An alternative to the stone. one of these guys will actually do super well in that department. First one I would do is like a 5,000 grit specialty stone. We also have them in 3,000. But those stones are really good for like sharpening, like straight razors, chisels, anything that you need to like just lay it flat onto, because it does have a bit of a waxy feel to them. The downside of these guys is they're just super soft, right? So you don't really be wanting to like kind of angling that knife and then gouging into that stone, because you can leave pretty deep crevices where you can like put cheese in it and dip it if you wanted to.
Our homie Nathan is asking if we got any of the James brand knife yet.
James brand knife? No, but we do have a special edition knife here.
The Mora? Gone? No, it's gone.
No!
I sold that.
You sold that?
I sold that very, very quickly.
You're looking at a plain moment for that.
Yeah, sorry, homie.
Oh, no.
Those are gone. And yeah, just to clarify, tomorrow's topic with Naoto, we're just doing a collection of different edges for different users and purposes, because there's a lot of different types of sharp, you know?
Oh, yeah. Okay,
yeah. A lot of different ways you can sharpen knives. So, like, you know, wire bevels, convex edges.
Yeah.
The way that a scissor is sharpened is different from a knife, you know? They're all
exactly. Bug Naoto about asymmetrical sharpening.
Yeah.
He's definitely got a tune in for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do we have here, Owen?
Oh, damn. Yeah, we just got this randomly in our transfer today. This is a Takeda Higo. This is Algami Super blue carbon steel with stainless lamination. It's got an antler handle.
It's got an antler handle.
So
nice.
Thanks, man.
Honestly, we had like 4 or 5 of these come in. This is probably the best feeling one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the rest of them had those wooden handles. Like there were some stabilized wood, some pink ones, some ironwood. This one is so nice.
Yeah, this one has. So the reason why I like this one quite a bit compared to the ones, other ones that were pretty thin. This one has a bigger handle to it. It just feels a little more solid, and that blade is a little bit thicker too, which I really love about this one.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Shit, I want this.
Yeah, that's such a nice. Next paycheck.
Next paycheck.
Next paycheck. Or it could be yours. Whatever you guys feel like. All right.
So yeah, I guess we're all good here, man. Like I think Francis mentioned a couple of times, don't forget all locations of Knifewear are doing free sharpening for all industry people. So if you're working as a chef, or if you know any chefs, let them know. We want to help you guys out because the industry is kind of in trouble right now with all the shutdowns going around.
Yeah.
We also, I don't know if I'm going to mention it anyway, the garage sale looms. The garage sale is looming. The 17th to the 24th of May. It's mostly going to be online this time around, as it was before, because we can't have parties in the shop and give away free coffee and beer and stuff like that. Yeah. So make sure to tune into those goons in Calgary who will be doing their big live stream. Kevin is going to be exhausted.
Those guys will make an announcement. Just keep in contact with us, guys, and we will let you guys know when that happens.
And next week we will be back here, same time, same channel, for some fun pocket knife sharpening. I'll bring my Hella too.
Yeah, why not?
We'll do a Scandi grind. We'll do one of my Makusta too.
Yeah, we'll do some fun stuff here. Yeah. And it was just one thing, you guys. If you guys are dropping off a knife, if you guys are in the industry, just remind us to give us a bit of time when you're sharpening. There are people doing it at this moment too. So usually 1 to 2 round day turnaround, depending on what city you guys are on. But yeah, come on by and get your knife sharpened on us, guys, because we love to help you.
We're here to help. We love you. You made us great. We're gonna help you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to unsubscribe and dislike the video. Just give us a thumbs up.
There you go. Dislike and unsubscribe.
And if you guys have any questions about anything we've done today, you guys can contact me, Owen at knifewear.com, either myself, Francis at knifewear.com, or even contact us at hello@knifewear.com. We're happy to help you guys, or come to one of our shops in one of our cities, and yeah, we'll get you guys knifed up and sharp as a bucket.
Oh, sure. Excuse me. All right, on that bombshell, you say goodnight.
Good night.